Hi, my name is Henry, and today I will be exploring the entrepreneurial qualities of Richard Williams. Richard Williams was a Canadian-British animator born 19th March 1933 and died 16th of August 2019. He is most known for his film The Thief and the Cobbler, in which he would direct, produce, and share a writing credit for. The film ultimately failed, having missed multiple deadlines and going over budget. Additionally, Williams and his whole team working under his studio were eventually fired by the Completion Bond Company after presenting only 15 minutes of the finished film. This would lead to the company finding Fred Calvert as a replacement, who would disregard Williams' final vision, adding musical numbers and adding dialogue for the main character. Treated as a passion project, according to Williams, referring it as his big picture with all the stuff I know packed in, Williams' holistic goal for his project seemed to be focused on the technicalities of animation. He himself also seems to be self-aware about this, having recorded it in his book The Animated Survival Kit, where he refers to a drawing he did of Milt Kahl, saying, quote, "Don't listen to Dick, he's too technical," end quote. His book is now considered a staple in most animation schools, adopting the name The Animation Bible. Later in 2008, he further adapted his book into a 16-DVD box set, The Animated Survival Kit Animated, providing recordings of lectures from Williams' teachings, as well as multiple examples of animation he had done. Probably the most famous project of his that not many would know he worked on was the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He would work as lead animator on the film, which was considered a massive achievement, blending both animation and live-action mediums together. Williams would win an Oscar and a BAFTA for Best Visual Effects and a Special Achievement Academy Award. Williams had a variety of different skills and attributes that would help contribute to his success. He was extremely talented in animation, having mastered a variety of techniques and principles, most notably his use of movement and perspective. Additionally, he has experience with writing screenplays for animated productions such as The Thief and the Cobbler, not to mention his writing skills also being applied in his Animated Survival Kit book. Moreover, he shares experience with designing many titles for films and shows, highlighting his skills in graphic design, as well as having voice acted in a few short films. He also had meticulous drawing skills, highlighted throughout his body of work and his Animated Survival Kit, in which he talks about the importance of draftsmanship. His soft skills, on the other hand, would include his strong leadership abilities where he would run his own studio, be in the position of lead animator for multiple projects, and direct many films. Additionally, he had a strong determination and perseverance to complete projects to the best of his ability, evident during the 3-decade production period for The Thief and the Cobbler. He would perfect every shot, pushing the limitations of animation, animating majority of the film completely on ones. Although his perseverance and determination are key qualities and skills that would contribute to his success, that would also cause challenges for him. It was specifically his time on The Thief and the Cobbler where he would suffer. Because of his perfectionism, paired with his determination to animate on ones for majority of the film, it would go beyond the budget they had initially been given to work with. According to Simon Abrams, quote, "The film's first 10 minutes of footage took 14 years to complete and cost about 1.5 million British pounds to produce. Adjusting for inflation, that's about $31 million today," end quote. Moreover, he would proceed to miss the agreed-upon completion date. Although during this production he would not particularly overcome these challenges, he would learn a lesson from this experience, applying it to his future works by not directing any more feature-length films, only short films. Not only does this mean he would not have to work with big corporations such as Disney and Warner Brothers, it means he works for himself and chooses when he releases his films. In reference to the discovery skills introduced in The DNA of Australian Innovators reading, although having demonstrated all 5 throughout his work, there are 2 in particular that he incorporated throughout his body of work more extensively compared to the others. These are his networking skills, as well as his use of experimentation. Williams would take his own initiative to create his own studio, hiring a group of highly skilled animators, some having been colleagues with Williams already, and some being legendary artists he had looked up to. He was very particular in who he had hired, looking for animators based on their specific strengths. An example of this is Ken Harris, who had previously worked on Wile E. Coyote. Williams recalled that, quote, "He just drew slightly funnier than anyone else," end quote. Additionally, he would hire Art Babbitt, Grim Nadderwick, and Milt Kahl, all veterans of animation who had worked on original Disney Warner Brothers works. Williams was no stranger to experimentation, present in his film Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where the two art forms of live-action television and animation would be paired. Specifically, the zany anthropomorphic animal characters of classic cartoons such as Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse would be placed into the world of a classic noir story that takes place in the real world, mixing two completely different genres together. Moreover, his works Prologue and Lecture on Man act as though they are artworks themselves, pieces that could be displayed in an art gallery rather than something you would see in the cinema. This is due to his motif of having his animation presented as smooth and fluid, which is what distinguishes his work from so many other animators. Unlike most animators, Williams brings a certain technicality to his works, taking the art form and challenging it to its limits. My future vision can be defined through a quote from Questlove in his book Creative Quest: "Allow unexpected influences to shift your ideas." I believe what makes the best artists is to have the ability to not limit oneself and to draw inspiration from multiple different sources. An artist who demonstrates this is Richard Williams. An example of him drawing from other sources of inspiration outside of animation was Charlie Chaplin, who evidently would inspire the main character of The Thief and the Cobbler, Tack. Additionally, my future vision consists of not just working with animation, but rather expanding across multiple different mediums. For example, although currently studying animation, I would also be keen to create through live action film, music, game design, etc. My current hard skills consist of having experience with operating a camera for short films, having experience with creating storyboards for both live action and animation, having experience in writing screenplays for short films, acted in live performances, both stage plays and musicals, acquiring ensemble, background dancer, and lead roles, drawing, and rudimentary 3D modeling skills on Blender. As for my current soft skills, I have high emotional intelligence, I'm creative and innovative, and I have strong networking and relationship building skills. The skills and attributes I will need in order to succeed at achieving my envisioned future work consist of better time management, communication skills, and leadership skills. I believe that the main reason for my lack in time management skills is that I can easily overthink while completing assignments and projects, distracting me from focusing on the task at hand. Overthinking about simple tasks given can lead to wasting a significant amount of time, ultimately jeopardizing my completion of the assignment on time. To counter this, I can try breaking tasks into more manageable chunks that I can easily focus on. Additionally, I can easily be distracted by my mobile phone. However, having it off and keeping it away from me whilst I work has proven to be a rather effective method to counter this. As for my communication skills, I find that I can be self-conscious in regard to sharing ideas. Furthermore, I tend to become anxious when having to do presentations in front of audiences, a fear that I will have to learn to overcome in order to pitch ideas. I am already in the process of trying to overcome this fear, answering more questions in class to get more comfortable talking in front of crowds, whilst also having the courage to share ideas. Lastly, in order to improve my leadership skills, I will need to show more initiative in group projects, as well as improving my organization. This way, I'm able to provide myself with a sense of responsibility in my group. As previously mentioned, I have a lack of confidence in sharing ideas, which will also apply in my ability to lead. This can be resolved by overcoming my fear of talking in front of crowds.